Hi there, and welcome to this video on the glyph of Mercury. And as with the other planets, they're related to the alchemical glyphs that were used in ancient times. And here for Mercury we have the winged messenger here with the little wings on his hat. Mercury was also talked about as the catalyst between sulfur and salt in the tarot series, with sulfur representing the emperor and salt the empress, and Mercury being the catalyst between the reaction of the two. So here you can see the glyph of Mercury, which I have labelled. So we have an upper crescent shape here, which can represent the soul. The circle of spirit, which connects body and soul, and we have the cross of matter, which grounds the two. So for the circle bit here, representing spirit, it has no beginning and no end. It's the spark of life that is in everyone. And it's mentioned in the book of Revelations 22:13, I am the Alpha, the beginning, and the Omega, the end. The beginning and the end, the first and the last. So these principles are in pretty much every doctrine of the religions in one form or another. The semicircle was the soul, that receptive bit to which guides life, the non-material part of a person, the sum of all experiences that would be during this life and previous lives, which then go on to the Akashic records. And that is ground in the cross, which represents matter, and that is the physical form of the world that we live in. It's our outer life, the life that we live in its more mundane aspects. And this grounds Mercury in the reality of the rational, the factual and concrete, and you can add the emotional and everything else that goes with what it's like to live in a human body. And all of those experiences are recorded in the soul and absorbed into spirit. Looking a little bit more of the astrology context, Mercury is in dignity in Gemini, which rules Gemini. And the soul lesson for Gemini here is wisdom through brotherhood. So here we have the winged messenger again and the glyph of Gemini. And here I'll just put a little bit more flesh on the bones with regards to the glyph. So we have the spiritual light penetrates both the psyche, the soul and matter here. And then you have the cross, and that's the mind, which coordinates and integrates fact that we get from our daily life. And that is a combination also of information that's received from spirit, especially if you do like spiritual practices and you ground that in your day-to-day living. And essentially you can share that wisdom with others. So some of the qualities of Mercury in Gemini are manual dexterity. Picasso had Mercury in Gemini, the painter Picasso. And also with Gemini, it's very chatty, likes to connect with others, communicating, because the winged messenger does that. He is the communicator between man and the gods. Sharing information, and this is fundamental to brotherhood, hence the soul lesson of Gemini, brotherhood through wisdom. That wisdom gained through the integration of information from the upper vehicles, or the higher vehicles through the soul and spirit, and grounding those realizations in the cross of matter. So the soul lesson for Gemini was wisdom through brotherhood, which we've demonstrated. And just to say, with regards to Mercury, it's also in the tarot, where you can see the glyph in the Thoth deck here, and the Magus is bringing spirit down through to matter. Again, we've got a similar hand position here, and the infinite nature, or the circle of spirit, is here, and he's bringing that down into the everyday life. And here are the 4 elements here: the cups, coins, swords, and the staffs, and that is symbolic of the various different aspects of matter on the cross there. Okay, so a short video here. I hope you found that helpful, and I hope to see you again.